Today, we're going to talk about graphing linear equations. This is something always very exciting in algebra because it's in a way, it's taking a picture of an equation. Because we're going to take an equation and draw it, basically. We're going to give it a picture. So, what this is saying is that for x, when x is something, we can get a y out of it. So, say if I put in a 1 for x, I can get 2 times 1 plus 3 equals y, and I get 2 plus 3 equals y, so I get 5 equals y. Okay? So this is saying that when x equals 1, y equals 5. Alright? So I can plot that on my graph down here as a point, also known as an ordered pair. So, how we plot points is that we know that x is 1, and we know that y is 5. So I know that I'm going to have 1 in the place of my x-coordinate, and 5 in the place of my y-coordinate. So I want to plot this ordered pair on my xy grid here. So we plot this horizontal line, that is called the x-axis. That's what we use to plot our x-coordinates. And then the vertical line is the y-axis. We use that to plot our y-coordinates. So I'm going to label my graph here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So my ordered pair now is going to be 1 on the x-axis, and I count up from there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the y-axis, and that's my point. That's an example of how we would do an ordered pair. So we would mark a note next to that saying it's the point 1, 5. All right. But now I want to graph this. I can't do much with just a point because that's all it is really. It's just a point. I need to make another point in order to draw the picture. So in order to make that second point, actually I'm going to do a third point as well. I'm going to find what are called the x and y intercepts. Okay. So in order to find one of the intercepts, we're going to let x equal 0 and find what y is. So I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to start by finding what y equals when x equals 0. So I know y equals 2 times 0 plus 3. Okay, I got that from simply putting my 0 in for x, which I got from right here. So anything times 0 is 0 plus 3, so y equals 3. And so that would be my y-coordinate. Alright, so then I would get the point 0, 3. And then I would plot that on my point. So this is saying x equals 0. Alright, this right here is where x equals 0 and where y equals 0 is. It's a special point on the coordinate plane called the origin. So we have 0, and then we start at 0, and then it says the y-coordinate is 3, so we go up 3. Okay? So what kind of picture does it look like is forming here? It looks like we are forming a line, okay? Because we can draw a line through any 2 points. But I want to find one more point just to make sure I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to erase this equation here, and this time I'm going to say y equals 0. So 0 equals 2x plus 3. Alright. So now I've got to subtract 3 from both sides because I want to solve for x. So I get negative 3 equals 2x, and x equals negative 3 halves, or negative 3 over 2. So that is my x-coordinate, negative 3 halves. So I plot it now. I go x equals negative 3 halves. So when we go in the negative direction, we go this way. So we go 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves would be right here. Now I plotted it right here on the x-axis because y equals 0. That means don't go anywhere on the y-axis. So I need to plot my point, need to label my points here as well. I've been kind of bad about that. Okay, So now these are special points that I've got right here on my x and y axis. They're called x and y intercepts. Okay, this point is the x-intercept. This point is the y-intercept. I'll write those out. X-intercept and y-intercept. So why do we call them x-intercept and y-intercept? Well, it's actually a very good reason. Because at the x-intercept, it is the point where the line is crossing, it's intercepting, so to speak, the x-axis. Same thing with the y-intercept, is the point on the line where the graph is intercepting, going through the y-axis. So now the only thing left to do is I'm going to make this point a little bit better, is to draw our line through it. Now, I don't have graph paper, so I kind of had to eyeball it here, but this is approximately what your line would look like. And because it's a line, geometry says we have to draw arrows on it to show that our line increases infinitely in both directions. So we have to have arrows on there as well. For a matter of neatness, we would typically use a straight edge or a ruler to draw the lines, but I don't have one of those with me at the moment, but that's fine. So this would be the line y equals 2x plus 3.